As you all know, that the worship of God as Mother has prevailed in India from long, long back. But the most unique feature of Durga Puja is the image of Divine Mother as Mahishasur Mardini. Though it starts with clay, but once the clay image is complete, the deity invoked in it, and it transforms into living goddess with power, knowledge, blessings, and joy as Divine Mother, assuring her children the peace, love, and protection. At the beginning of 20th century, puja started at Belur Math in 1901. Swami Vivekananda started the first Durga Puja with the image of goddess, facing a lot of difficulties and criticism. One of the main reasons behind this initiative of Swami Vivekananda was to institutionalize respect for the divinity of motherhood. Swamiji realized that one of the main reasons for the advancement of the Western country was the respect and elevation of women. And the backwardness of India was basically due to the neglect of women in the society. This worship of goddess as mother, especially the Kumari Puja at Belur Math, was to create this awareness of the potential divinity of women and to develop an attitude of respect towards them. In the early 20th century, post the Bengal partition movement, the celebration of Durga Puja underwent a significant shift. The role of mother got a new narrative. At that time, the nationalist call to rise up against the British rulers was heard across Bengal, and goddess Durga became the symbol of strength and divinity who would rescue the nation from the colonial rule. And to fight against the rulers is the prime responsibility of her sons, means the freedom fighters. Slogans came out for the pujas, nothing Bideshi, only Swadeshi. Gandhiji's call to do away with the untouchability transformed into the concept of Sarvajanin Puja with participation of people from all castes and castes. In 1910, Vrindavan Matri Mandir of North Calcutta was a major example of Durga Puja creating platform for the freedom fighters. Even Subhash Chandra Bose celebrated Durga Puja while he was in Mandalay jail. In September 25, he wrote a letter from the jail to his friends. The Divine Mother is being worshipped today in many a Bengali home. We are fortunate enough to have her in prison also. Bagbaja Sarvajani started in 1919, was used by the freedom fighters to promote Swadeshi movement and products. The event Birashtami at the Puja Pandal was the worship of power. Atindranath Basu and Pulin Bihari Das, both with the background of Anushilan Samiti, founded Shimla Bayam Samiti in 1926, and Durga Puja was started in the same year, inaugurated by Subhash Chandra Bose. During the independence movement, Ambikanagar Rajbari of Bakura became the abode for the armed freedom fighters. In fact, he made some arrangements for arms and ammunition for the freedom fighters. Later on, the king of the palace, Raicharan Dhawal Deo, was arrested by the British police for his active support to the freedom fighters. We have so many histories like this with Durga Puja, but how many people know this? There lies the true need of archiving all this history and heritage. We at Digital Durga are doing this important archival work. Now going to the next phase, before going to the next phase, I welcome Mr. Amitabh Vasena, President of Baliganj Cultural Association, one of the largest pujas of Calcutta, to share his views on this topic. Please.
Thank you, Shobhajit. Namaskar, everybody. It's a great pleasure to speak on a platform like this. At the outset, I must laud the effort being made by Digital Durga to capture the history and heritage of Durga Puja and do a digital archiving. I think, having traveled abroad, etc., I think one of the areas that we as a country lack is in not adequately capturing and sort of archiving the history and heritage that we have. And I'm glad that something like the Durga Puja is being taken up by Digital Durga. Wish your project all the best. And in fact, what I have seen on the website is very, very interesting. And I'm sure you will populate it with more content as we go along. And for us puja organizers, it is very heartening, because I think otherwise, at the end of the 10 days, what happens is that other than a few faded photographs, there's very little left, or at least that's what it used to be. Even as someone who has been associated with Baliganj culture from birth, because my father was one of the founding members of the puja in 1951. There is very little record of pujas of the 1950s, 60s, and even 70s. There are these very frayed old black and white photographs, etc. In fact, to give you to let you in on a secret, so my grandfather, who was a very well-known artist, Shrotesh Chandra Sinha, he was the president of he was the principal of the government art college. He, in fact, used to get the image or the Pratima of Baliganj culture done by one of his students, Jyotindranath Pal. And for each year, he would draw a new pose for the mother with the Oshu depicted in a certain way. Now, I believe there were very, very interesting sketches, pencil sketches done by him of these things, which have got completely lost in the sands of time. So it's very unfortunate. So therefore, I'm glad that you're taking an initiative like this. Having said that, as organizers of a major Durga Puja in Kolkata, I think we have to take on board the fact that Durga Puja today is no longer a 5-day religious festival. It is become a huge street festival. It's it's something comparable to the Rio festival in Brazil, for instance, and it has its there are aspects to it which have to do with commerce, with food, with entertainment, with new substrates and innovations that people do, etc. And the pandals have transformed from being just something that holds the pratima to actually examples of installation art. This is something that started probably in the 1970s, when people started experimenting with different material, and continued through the 80s. But at the turn of the millennium, with the coming in of the theme pujos, these have not only become installations art, in some cases, I would say they've become like experiential walkthroughs. Some of the themes, etc., that have been done by some of the pujas is absolutely amazing. And I am glad that there will be a way to preserve them for posterity. And let me tell you, while the practice or the extolation of the mother goddess has been there in our history and culture for a long time, in Bengal, there is a certain endearing element to Durga Puja, in the sense that as per mythology, it is for that goddess Durga comes home to her mother's place for those 5 days. And no wonder when she goes away, there is a lot of despondency and little tear in the eye of most people at the end of the 5 days. And so it's a festival which actually sort of gets everybody together, and this kind of an effort to capture this and preserve it is fabulous. Having said that, I think I'd also like to talk about a few other aspects of Durga Puja. Today, a lot of management sophistication has come into Durga Puja. So there are event managers, there are people, there are sponsors who've come into play. There are a lot of innovations being done in terms of the pandals, in terms of the lighting, etc. And this kind of archival will actually help us to leverage the power and potential of Durga Puja as a street festival even better. Because sometimes it becomes a challenge to showcase to other people or to explain to them what this is all about. And this kind of an effort will certainly help us in showcasing the potential of Durga Puja to potential sponsors, collaborators. I dare say that the recognition that we've got from UNESCO will, propel Durga Puja to its rightful place in the sun And I think an effort like this will give us the right platform to take it across the world to not only the Bengali diaspora, but to students, to academics, and even attract tourism. So I think that's what I would like to say. As far as our puja is concerned, and I think that is something I would urge Sharbuli to also keep in mind that, just as he said, in the old days, each of the pujas had a certain tradition with which they began. There are certain big events or high points in every Durga Puja. And I think even those or the different nuances of those in different pujas is something you can look at capturing. For instance, in our puja, the bhog is a big thing. The Shiru Khala is a big thing. The traditional Bhashan procession that we used to have, where all our members would wear only dhuti pashada, dhuti panjabi, or red bordered sari, is something which was very much a part of it. So these are also things which add to the ceremony and the tradition that Durga Puja is all about. So that's it from my side, but would be happy to again comment later if there's anything further you'd like to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sinha. Of course, I note your point, and that will also be included in our effort. It's an important point. Thank you for your nice. Coming to the recent times, in the post-independence era, we have seen a huge growth of Sarvajanin Puja. But again, we have no clue about any documentation of that puja that Mr. Sinha was also talking about. What later on became the theme puja in the early 21st century was first initiated 63 years back in Kolkata. During that time, the big puja was dominated with the traditional way of pandal with cloth and bamboo, and also with idol with the traditional manner. In the year 1959, Jagat Mukherjee Park in North Calcutta hired an upcoming artist, Ashok Gupta, to do things differently. He decorated the pandal with elaborate murals on the wall and changing presentation style of idol, and created the first so-called theme puja of Calcutta. Some experiments also began in the 70s and 80s, which Mr. Sinha also mentioned. In our memory, you can recollect the pujas of Kolkata, which introduced light and sound at Muktadal, Shangostri, Shangamitra, in the Bhavanapur area pujas, or pujas where idols were made not of clay but of different kind of material. It continued till late 80s, but unfortunately, we have lost that too. We at our end are trying to restore some of them. In the early 90s, Sunil Nagar Sarvajanin of Tinjara, the picnic garden of Kolkata, a puja started the first theme puja, which later on taken up by the pujas in Behala, and subsequently it became a feature all over Calcutta from the early 2000s. We really had no platform to showcase this evolution of puja. We remember some outstanding pujas of Kolkata, like the puja at Bushpukur, which was made of clay pot, or the Dilwara temple at Jodhpur Park of Kolkata. And I believe there are a lot of major pujas that Baligan Cultural Association also had. We'll find it extremely difficult to get any images of those pujas, which are so popular, which have been so famous, so popular. With the introduction of so-called theme puja, deviating from the traditional form of idol, pandal, lights, and various young artists came up with excellent and innovative ideas in terms of installation and creating the image of goddess Durga. There are some pujas of Kolkata who still now stick to the traditional form, but the evolving nature of this festival is quite evident. From puja to royal families, to Barwari, to Sarvajanin, to this art festival of nowadays, especially in recent times, it has been a huge change of concept, style, form, and presentation. Also, various socio-cultural aspects, be it illiteracy, be it saving the nature and environment, or the pandemic scenario, or the issue of migrant laborers, or even the birth centenary of legend, all have become a part of the thematic presentation of puja nowadays. A study by the British Council indicates that the economic growth economic worth of creative industries around Durga Puja is 32,000 crore, which I believe will be much more in this puja when we have come out of the pandemic situation. At the same time, socio-cultural impact of puja is also huge. Literature, publishing, art, craft, design, food, entertainment, and a whole lot of things that are associated with the puja. In our portal also, we have the similar segment on this. This year, on the cultural end, we too have some plans in terms of music, dance, literature, art, and cinema. We must say that this festival has now become the largest art festival of the world with its sheer artistic finery, unmatched creativity, and innovative themes. No pujo has ever deviated from the primary traditional aspect of worshipping goddess Durga, but it has been transformed into the largest art festival of the globe with unbridled people's participation. Let me show you a short story about this contemporary art of the present day Kolkata.
বাংলার ঐতিহ্যমণ্ডিত দুর্গাপুজো নানা পরিবর্তনের সাক্ষী। যে পুজো একসময় ছিল রাজবাড়ি কিংবা জমিদার বাড়ির বৈভবের প্রতীক, তা পরবর্তীকালে বারোয়ারি পুজোয় রূপান্তরিত হয়। তারও পরে সময়ের সঙ্গে সঙ্গে পাল্টে গিয়ে সেই দুর্গাপুজো আজ সর্বজনীন। পুজোর ভাবনায়, বৈশিষ্ট্য ও আঙ্গিকে এসেছে নানা পরিবর্তন। থিম পুজোর হাত ধরে নানা রূপে নানা সাজে সেজে ওঠেন মা দুর্গা। আজ সর্বজনীন এই দুর্গোৎসব শিল্প সৃষ্টির এক অনবদ্য ক্ষেত্রভূমিতে পরিণত হয়েছে। আর এই মহোৎসবের টানে দেশের বিভিন্ন প্রান্ত থেকে, পৃথিবীর নানা জায়গা থেকে মানুষ ছুটে আসেন একে প্রত্যক্ষ করতে। আজকের এই দুর্গোৎসবকে সারা পৃথিবীর সর্ববৃহৎ ও সর্বশ্রেষ্ঠ শিল্প উৎসব বলে অবশ্যই অভিহিত করা যেতে পারে।
Excepting a few preservation of idol, no serious documentation has so far been done to archive this excellent artwork. At Digital Durga, we are trying to restore as many of them from 2020. Down the line, next to 5 to 10 years, we don't know. With advancement of technology, what new ideas will come up? But if we fail to restore this grand art festival, it will be wiped out from our lives, leaving us only with some faded memories. So actually, we're doing our project on both ends. One is to digitally restoring the traditional pujas, and the second is digitally preserving the ongoing largest art festival. We strongly believe that all of you will come forward to support us in this endeavor and to make this portal an invaluable digital archive of Durga Puja for all of us. We must join hands to make Digital Durga a grand success for us and for our future generation. Finally, thanks again to the Ministry of Tourism for inviting me and also to Mr. Sinha in this webinar and giving us this platform to share our ideas. Thanks everybody for the patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Really a great presentation. 2 films which showcased how it was being celebrated earlier, and second film, how it is being celebrated now. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Chakrabarti, and thank you, Amitabh Sinha ji, because from you, we got the latest perspective of Puja, how it is being celebrated. Though we have all been part of these festivals, Durga Puja is equally celebrated with same excitement, even in other parts of the country. But today, what we listen to information on this Durga Puja, how it originally started, was amazing. This kind of information, this is exactly what people are looking for. And these have not only remained Durga Puja festivals, but they have become big tourist attractions. And from tourism ministry's point of view, they have become within the country moment, and the huge moment happens during this Durga Puja. Sir, very important information was shared by you on the origin of festival, and Mr. Sinha added valuable inputs on how the festival has become a mega street festival, which has aspects like commerce, food, and entertainment. Similarly, these pandals have not only remained worshipping anymore, but they also showcase the beautiful installations, the experiential walkthroughs, and the art and craft of the West Bengal. Sir, some of the pujas still stick to their traditional form. That's what it is mentioned. We would like to know more about these areas, which are the areas in Kolkata or West Bengal, where still the puja is performed in the same traditional manner. There are a few questions. I will come to you with the questions, but if you could just give us some brief information on this.
Mr. Sinha, you can well.
May I take this question, please? So,
Yeah.
So I think 2 things that most pujas, for all the theme and all the embellishments, etc., they still maintain, as far as the the rites and ceremonies are concerned, they maintain the tradition. Also, there are several large pujas, including Baliganj Cultural Association. And, I'll just name a few, like College Square in North Calcutta, or Ekdalia Evergreen in South Calcutta, or Park Circus, which is in Central Calcutta. All of us are pujas which have maintained the tradition, in the sense we still have a deity which is a large deity, and the deity is the centerpiece of the puja. But I think what has happened is, thanks to the influence of new theme artists, thanks to new substrates coming in, also people becoming exposed to more eclectic presentations. This has also prompted us to present the traditional puja, package it in ways which are different, innovative, novel year after year. And I would invite all of you on this panel to actually visit the pujas in the first, Durga Puja in Kolkata in the first week of October. And ma'am, to just take a cue from what you said, this puja, Durga Puja, and that period actually has the potential to become, just as Oktoberfest gives a spurt to tourism in Germany. And I myself experienced that. I think Durga Puja has that potential.
100%, sir. I fully agree with you. It has the potential, and again, doesn't get only restricted to Kolkata, because even in other parts of the country, it's celebrated with equal fervor and equal excitement. So,
absolutely. And the same ceremonies and rituals are a part of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. At the same time, I mean, along with Kolkata Puja, Kolkata is amazing things to watch. But what I mentioned earlier, that even in the districts, there are so many pujas that can attract tourism in a bigger way.
Absolutely.
There are so many palaces, and how the pujas, how the rituals, how they're performing with the rituals. I think that is another aspect. And Durga Puja in Kolkata comes out with a different art festival. So
originality. It has the originality. Yes.
Yeah. For the tourism, it is for the both end. It is absolutely marvelous to explore this area of tourism.
Correct. Sir, I agree with you on that point. So one question for you, sir. You have mentioned that you have already got about 300 pujas documented, and your target is 1,000 pujas. So this is going to be a continuous process, because even your target from 1,000 is going to shift to 3,000 later. This will be a continuous process. Is it going to get restricted only to West Bengal or across the country?
It is absolutely not. I am welcoming everybody on this panel, and also through this webinar. I'm welcoming and I'm requesting everybody, that I already told in my speech, that everybody's support is required from all corners of India. Pujas are happening in Benares, in Lucknow, in Kanpur, in Gorakhpur, in Allahabad, in Bihar, in Maharashtra. Why not? All the metro cities of India are having Durga Pujas. We need all these informations, even from Delhi, even from Mumbai. We have some information of pujas from Benares. You see a puja we have got from Benares, which is started in the year 1773. That's a very old puja. That information already we have in the portal. We have another 2 pujas from Benares. We are looking for pujas from Allahabad, from Delhi, from Pune, from Lucknow, from other parts, even from northeastern countries. From Bihar, Patna, Ranchi, and all this. So we need support. We need connection with the people who can support us with this information from the respective states or the respective cities. Otherwise, it is not possible for us only to gather this information independently. So this support is very much needed.
Yes, sir.
So anybody can add to what Sharbajit was saying, so the digital platform actually allows us to get content, user-generated content from puja organizers from all over the world. And in this context, I'd also like to talk about that in something in the pre-pandemic 2018 and 19, Baliganj Cultural Facebook was the official digital partner of the Baliganj Cultural Puja. And they streamed live all the major things, which was followed by the Bengali diaspora all over the world, transcending geographies. My sister, who has been out of Calcutta for the last 30 years, was able to see every step of the puja sitting in her home far away. And for that week, the Baliganj Cultural Facebook page was one of the top 10 viewed pages in India. So, the power of this digital media is awesome, both in terms of the reach it can have and in terms of the way we can capture images and information from all over the world, far-flung places.
Amazing, sir. Digitally, we are all connected globally. So sitting in America, sitting in Southeast Asia, any part of the world, people can see puja live. There is a question, sir, in the chat that is this puja time the right time, or is there a different time which suits the puja, or this is the time for puja?
So this is set by the almanac. So,
Correct.
the puja happens always, as he said, it is linked to the new moon, which is Mahalaya, and the puja starts a week after that on Shashti, which is 7 days from that particular new moon.
So it is always a right time for puja. So there is
Yeah.
no argument on that. Sir, you also mentioned one very interesting point about the artisans and the folk artists. So this puja is also helping preserving our traditional arts, craft, and also at the same time improvising with the new ideas.
Yeah.
So is this
Exactly.
also going to be documented, that how it's happening, and how is there any support coming from private organizations, government organizations for such initiatives?
Right now, what you're saying that what we're doing, we are actually documenting this art and artisans on their livelihood. For example, there are a lot of people who are involved with the collection of clay. I mean, Durga Puja is a thing where immense people from different sectors, they contribute. And then comes finally what you see the goddess Durga is the contribution of a lot of people. Somebody who prepares the arms, somebody who prepares the decoration, somebody who prepares the idol. So, I mean, regarding pandal also, there are a lot of artists who come and decorate design the pandal in different materials. Also, there is folk art like Patachitra. Patachitra is an art in Midnapur, which is very much connected with Durga Puja. The drummers. We have so many artists involved in this Durga Puja. We are trying to have some documentation, audiovisual documentation on them, and preserving it on our portal so that government organization can see and take it up further.
Correct.
How to support them.
Yes.
And secondly, one thing just about the previous point what Mr. Sinha correctly said, I just want to mention one thing. It is decided by the almanac, true, but I think the puja is celebrated only for this 7 days, 1 month, 10 days. Our view, please try to celebrate and upgrade and elevate puja to a larger time, because we have so many things connected with puja. Celebration is only about, correct, the celebration is only about 7 to 10 days. But if we can culture this heritage, culture this puja throughout the year, and we cultivate these whole things which happens surround this puja, I think that will be a year-long activity to restore and to elevate this puja to a different level.
I think absolutely I agree with you, sir, because so much effort and such a huge teamwork goes in presenting that one festival. And just if it is wound up in 7 days or 10 days, a lot of people do not get opportunity to see it. And if it continues, it will be like an art exhibition also. So amazing presentations from both of you, sir. I thank you both. And on behalf of Ministry of Tourism, I wish everybody a happy weekend, and we look forward to more information in your portal, sir. Sir, is this portal also going to be in different languages?
Yeah, primarily now it is in Bengali language. Within a month's time, it will be bilingual with English version. Okay. Next, after that, we are coming with the Hindi version.
Great. So we look forward to going through this portal on Digital Durga, and we would love to be a part of this. So please keep giving us information through this portal as how we all can become a part of this digital moment. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of Ministry of Tourism, I thank everybody. I thank all our viewers for being our participants in today's seminar, and continue your support for these webinars as always. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.